first take from our own Adrian Wojnarowski regarding the Los Angeles Lakers and their coaching search. JJ Redick will formally interview for the LA Lakers coaching job this weekend, and a strong performance is expected to move him to the forefront of the franchise's search. Major news for our guy, JJ. Wendy, tell me, what are you hearing about this?
Yeah, well, you know, the Lakers, when they started this search, they really wanted to try to expand the horizons because the available candidates that were out there with NBA experience, I don't know if they believed that they were needle movers. You know, Mike Budenholzer was on the market, but he wanted the Suns job. They moved fast to get him. He's coaching his hometown team. After that, the Lakers really, I think, were trying to look a little bit outside the box because if you look at the Western Conference, it's so tightly packed. The difference between the team in 10th place and the team in 4th place, there's just very little air in there. And so while you do win with your roster, and while the Lakers' big moves in the offseason have got to be roster-based, they're trying to figure out how they can find a needle mover that can give them an edge. And so that search has led them a little bit far afield, and it led them to Dan Hurley because they felt that he was a kind of a culture setter and development guy who could potentially be a high risk, high reward. You want somebody with a high ceiling. It's almost like having a draft pick in the 20s. You're not going to get your number one pick. Their number one pick might have been Ty Lue or Eric Spoelstra, or Steve Kerr. Those coaches aren't available. So if you're down the list, you pick the player you pick the option with the most upside. So that's why JJ has been on their list. I think they've been obviously very impressed with seeing him, how he's talked about the game on television over the last few years. Obviously from his career and seeing him play, you know he's a very cerebral player and a smart guy. But then this podcast with LeBron James, people want to mock it or whatever. I can't think of a more innovative way to have a coach interview for a job than to spend hours and hours and hours with the star player. It happened to happen in public. Whether it happens in public or not, it's an incredible stress test to see the two of them do it. And they're talking about Los Angeles Laker plays and Los Angeles Laker basketball and style and stuff like that. And I think JJ has stayed incredibly disciplined throughout this process. He's been under a terribly big microscope. He's got to be on television and radio and the internet every single day. And he has never said anything that's put him out of position for this. I do think it's going to be a very hard job. I do think that the chances of success are narrow. The Lakers have one top 7 finish in the Western Conference in the last 12 years. Overcoming that is going to be hard, but I can see why JJ is getting an opportunity here, and I can see why the Lakers are interested in going down this path.
Wendy's such a nice guy. I mean, you really should run for office. I mean, I'd vote for you. You know, you're just such a nice guy. I got to tell y'all, listen, let's throw a couple of things out. Getting back to Joe Mazzulla, he's got 2 assistants on his squad. One's about to be the head coach of the Charlotte Hornets, Charles Lee. The other should be a prime head coaching candidate in Sam Cassell, who's paid his dues, who's also a champion as an NBA player. Okay, so let's throw that out the way first. Now let's get to this point about J.J. Redick. Wendy, you lost me. And here's when you lost me. When you talked about a terrible microscope. Really? I mean, oh, my God. You know, J.J. Redick's in town. Maybe when I see him, I'll go over and give him a hug. I mean, a terrible microscope, that's what we're going to use. That's an analogy. Okay. We're going to use a terrible microscope. I mean, my God, like somebody's forcing him. Somebody forced him. Somebody forced him to do the podcast. Somebody forced him to be on national television as a commentator. Somebody forced him to be a part of the A-team with ABC. Oh, we've imposed so much on J.J. Redick. Stop that. Stop. He's exactly what he wants to be. He's exactly what he wants to be. And J.J. Redick, if you watch it, I'm not throwing no shade on you. You know you're my brother. I got love for you. You understand? Listen, if this is what JJ wants, I hope he gets it. I'm not rooting against him. I'm rooting for him. But what we're not going to do is sit here and act like somehow, some way he's victimized by all of this. Oh, no. This is exactly where he wants to be. A matter of fact, he made noise, Molly, by getting ejected from his son, which I still tease him about. He got ejected coaching his son. I mean, he got ejected from a little league game. This is J.J. Redick we're talking about here, okay?
No,
so we got to understand there's no shame.
Can I just challenge you on one point? Though, I mean, he was put in an unfair situation last week. All of a sudden, it was like breaking news. He had the Lakers job. It was. Stephen A.
Whoa,
That happened last week. It was like breaking news. Let me just say it. Let me finish my thought. It was like breaking news. He got the Lakers job, and then we found out that it was really Dan Hurley that they were pursuing, et cetera. And that was like all over the
How was that
internet and everywhere.
unfair? How was that unfair?
How was unfair? Because it wasn't
unfair?
correct. It was factually incorrect. So then
it was factually incorrect. That didn't affect J.J. Redick.
Well,
If anything, it kept his name in the mix. Oh, please, no. I know it had no negative effect on J.J. Redick. And let me get to my last point, because somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it. You do understand what's coming down the pike, Andrea and Wendy, in the next few days, right? Wendy knows this is coming. Because you see, the Los Angeles Lakers went and talked about Danny Hurley, and that noise leaked out, right? And remember what Woj reported, because this is Woj we talking about. That brother don't miss much. And this man said, quote, they're going to make a record deal offer to Danny Hurley. And sure enough, it was to be the 6th highest paid coach in the NBA. One would argue that, guess what? We're going to throw this off at Danny Hurley so it can look like that's where our interest really lied. Knowing we're going to present an offer, there's no way in hell he would accept, because it's the 6th highest paid, to ultimately go after the dude LeBron wanted all along. I don't believe that's true. I'm not saying it is, but you know that is what people are going to say the minute JJ walks up in there officially for this interview. Now that it's reported, it's going to happen. That this was in the works all along, and everything else was a smokescreen, because Danny Hurley, a reigning 2-time defending national champion, considered the best coach in college basketball, the cachet that he brings, etc., was worth more than $11 million a year when the coaches in the NBA, the top coaches, are getting paid 17. You $6 million off, and 5 guys get paid higher, if not more. That's a problem. Watch the storylines. Floor is yours, Andrea.
Here's the thing, whether it's J.J. Redick, which J.J. is my guy, we talk basketball all the time. I want nothing but the best for him, like you said, Stephen A. I want whatever J.J. wants, that's exactly what I want to happen. I have no ties to any of the other coaching candidates. If J.J. wants to be the coach, I want J.J. to be the coach. What I want more than whatever J.J. wants to happen is that if he gets the job, he is given runway to figure it out. Because what we've seen from the Lakers is they haven't given coaches time to figure it out. Think about it. You're coming into a situation, whether you're friends with LeBron or not, figuring out how to make that team work around LeBron playing at this high level, that's going to take time. Implementing any type of culture, especially defensively, is going to take time. There are questions when it comes to the roster. And then even in the future, whenever LeBron decides to depart, that's also going to be a change that potentially J.J. Redick will need time to figure out. I don't care who the coach is. I hope it's J.J. if that's what he wants. But more than that, I hope he is given an adequate amount of time, especially as someone that hasn't been a head coach at this level before, to figure it out. Because right now, to me, I think it's a terrible situation to go into this and not be given an actual chance to put it together. The expectation for the Lakers to be a championship team next season is delusional. It's going to take more time than that, no matter who the coach is.
Well, wait a minute, Andrea.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I understand what you're saying. However, I want that for JJ too, but we want it because he's our colleague and we know him. If nobody else is getting any damn runway, why should he? Darvin Ham didn't get it. Vogel won a championship. He didn't get it.
No.
I'm just saying, he should be subjected to what everybody else is subjected to. That's all I'm saying.
He shouldn't be. I understand what you're saying. I would want this for whoever the next coach is, because this process, you just heard Wendy say they haven't been higher than 7th in the West in how many years, Wendy? When's the last time they were 7th in the West?
One time in 12 years. One time in 12 years.
The reason
to win the title that year.
The reason the next coach should get runway is because this system of rotating coaches in and out isn't working. And I hope on the Lakers side, that's what they realize. This system of rotating coaches in and this Ferris wheel, whatever you want to call it, merry-go-round of coaches is not, it's delusional. You know, what's insanity? Doing the same thing and expecting different results. I hope the Lakers make a change in the way they view this head coaching position as they decide who it is next.
Stephen A., let me ask you this. Let's pretend JJ, or Wendy, I'll come to you. Let's pretend JJ does get the job. What's realistic with this roster and how thick the West is? How far this team could potentially go, putting realistic expectations on it for next season and for him?
Well, it's very hard to know the way the whole West will look because this NBA season isn't even over yet. And then we have a transaction season before we see things, what the Lakers can do.
Based on currently where we stand, what would you say is realistic?
In all honesty, if the Lakers finish in the top 6 next year, they'll have done well. That's me sitting here today with what they've got. If they're able to get in the top 6, they will have done well. And I will say this, I don't care if you hire the greatest coach in the history of the game. In his first year, he will make mistakes. So everybody's got to understand that. You go with a first-time head coach, and that's a factor.
I look at it differently. I agree with your point about top 6, but here's what I would say. When you have 2 superstars,
Chào mừng đến với Bình Nguyên Vô Tận. Cả đội xông lên.
Ta ghét những kẻ không quyết đoán.
I'm going to attack if you don't give it your all. Don't underestimate it. Stop!
First blood! An enemy has been defeated!
Đây là trận chiến của các vị thần.
An enemy has been defeated. An enemy has been defeated. Double kill. An ally has been defeated. Shut down.
Ngươi chẳng biết được tham vọng của ta đâu.
An ally has been defeated. You have defeated an enemy.
Ta ghét những kẻ không quyết đoán. Lôi đâm vào tao rạch đất trời.
Destroyed a tower.